My name is Amy Henderson, and you're listening to the INtheWORLD Podcast. INtheWORLD is a reference to the common Christian admonition to be in the world, but not of the world. This episode will serve as a brief introduction of this podcast's defining features and purpose, so as to intrigue you if you're on the fence about listening, but to prevent you from wasting your time if you have poor taste in entertainment or it's not quite what you're looking for. First, I'd like to explain where the idea for this podcast came from so you have a better understanding of my intentions. I don't know about you, but I'm reaching an age where a couple of things are happening simultaneously. One, I live in a constant state of exhaustion for absolutely no discernible reason. Two, my scripture study is becoming irritatingly unfulfilling and repetitive. And three, I'm starting to ask a lot of questions about content in the media I consume. I've affectionately christened this phase of my life the battleground, because I feel pretty much at war with myself all the time. But in an effort to fight back against the associated irritations of these problems and defend my reigning champion title, I started writing this podcast as a tangible arena for all my pending victories with regard to these dilemmas. In its essence, this podcast is an analytical lens through which we will examine popular, or not so popular media, based on Christian principles and morals. Have you ever watched a movie or a TV show or read a book or listened to a song that reminded you of God or a gospel message or teaching? If you can answer yes, no, or maybe to that question, then stick around, because if you already do this, then you'll likely find a lot of entertainment in listening to something that echoes what you already do. If you don't do this, then you'll likely find a lot of entertainment in listening to something that you don't normally do. And if you answered maybe, then you'll really appreciate a future episode about indecision and commitment. Each episode will focus on a piece of media and explore features of said media through spiritual questions and scriptural doctrine. It will provide an analysis of how Christian beliefs fit within the larger world of entertainment, a combination of gospel doctrine compared to and contrasted with the doctrine and lifestyle of the world, as well as scientific principles not commonly discussed in religious settings. Disclaimer. While I do hope to be inclusive of Christian doctrine in a more general sense, I would like to point out my pre-existing bias. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and as the author of this podcast, this means that my commentary will be filtered through that bias, and will include references to scriptures beyond the Bible. However, most of the topics and doctrines discussed here are shared by other Christian denominations, and the conversations are not meant to be denominationally exclusive. I may occasionally have episodes that address doctrines specific to the church, such as the Word of Wisdom or baptisms for the dead, but these will be the exception, not the standard. If you're still uncomfortably sitting on the fence about listening, let me tease a couple of future episodes to pique your interest. The first official episode is a portrait of faith from the thriller movie The Village, compared to the Apostle Peter. Another episode argues that the character Jean Valjean from the musical Les Miserables, who is usually considered the pillar of mercy, is actually a better representative of justice than his counterpart Javert. And I'm currently working on an episode that debates whether the beliefs and actions of Iron Man or Captain America in Marvel's Captain America Civil War are more closely aligned with gospel teachings. These episodes ask questions that don't necessarily have one right answer, and I am not trying to assert absolute truth on any topic we discuss. But they do afford us a unique opportunity to explore the scriptures in new ways and to have intelligent conversations about choice, intention, and how to apply our beliefs to the world we live in. This podcast will talk about worldly things. Even the scriptures do that. Some episodes might be fairly serious, while others will be fairly comical, because I can't hardly write a complete paragraph without trying to make a joke. But all of them will feature a close examination and practical application of how to be in the world, but not be of the world, through the context of the media we consume. And hopefully in the process there will be a pleasant side effect. DeWitt J. Paul said, "It is my experience that there are a lot of very fine people in the world. Just because they do not have my outlook on life has never given me reason to alienate them through prudish self-righteousness. Perhaps herein lies the secret of living in the world without being a part of the world." For me, the key to this balanced lifestyle is based in our ability to look for the good and reject the bad. When we meet someone we don't agree with on a particular issue, do we discard the whole person? I hope not. That whole forgive as you want to be forgiven thing is pretty pointed doctrine for me. So we look for the good. That's what this podcast does. It looks for the good, acknowledges the bad, and hopes that we all take away something that makes us a little better tomorrow than we were today. There's a lot I don't know, but I find that it helps to talk about it. I hope you'll decide to join me.